Next 90 minutes, we celebrate the decade that rewrote the rules.
It looks like a porno film. It's really odd.
Bringing you the mighty moments that rocked the 80s.
I remember the excitement about the Jane Fonda workout. I remember the clothing. It coincided with the invention of Lycra. Lycra hadn't existed. Imagine a pre-Lycra existence. It was bleak, it was hell before Lycra appeared on the scene.
Are you ready to do the workout?
A lot of people are polarized with Jane Fonda because of what, you know, the Hanoi Jane situation. But she's always been glamorous. She's always been outspoken. She's a really strong woman and a talented actress. And this workout video was the campest thing ever.
In 1982, actress and activist Jane Fonda started a revolution of her own.
Shake your legs out. Woo!
Donning leggings and a leotard, Fonda was the pioneer of the celebrity workout video industry and spawned a craze for female fitness, which still flourishes today.
Actually, if you cast your mind back, 50 or 60 years, women of 40 and 50 were thought to be a bit, over the hill. And she was showing a whole new generation of women that you could still look fit and fabulous, and the key was getting fit and feeling the burn.
And down. Oh, feel that burn.
I mean, if you watch that video, I mean, it looks like a porno film. It's really odd. But, this was Jane Fonda you'd never seen before. Oh, my God, this is Hanoi Jane. Oh, my God, doing aerobics. And she had the tightest leotard that you'd ever seen. She looked incredible. I mean, there wasn't a hair out of place in the video. I certainly didn't look like that.
Jane Fonda's workout remains the top-grossing home video of all time and encouraged a slew of celebrities to jump on the bandwagon.
Jane Fonda literally started, and it's not multi-million, it's multi-billion-dollar industry of fitness, videos and workouts and all that stuff.
I have, of course, produced one myself, and I'd like to say it went to #1 in the charts. It was called If I Can, You Can. And if I'd only carried on doing my own video, you would see me as a quarter of the size woman you see today. If I'd taken my own advice, I'd have lived happily ever after.
You did a great job. Don't you feel good? I'll see you next time. Bravo!
I think what makes Coronation Street so iconic is the writing and the characters. There's been some amazing characters through the years.
And those characters don't come more legendary than Deirdre Barlow, played by the late Anne Kirkbride, who in 1983 found herself torn between husband Ken and lover Mike Baldwin.
Good old lefty, straightforward but slightly boring, but honest to goodness Ken.
Boring.
It's as good a word as any.
And then you have rather flash, but a bit more exciting, Mike Baldwin.
Getting on your nerves, is it?
Both iconic characters within Corrie.
Well, Deirdre was never really seen as a sex kitten, was she? With those enormous specs that look like welder's specs. And suddenly she's at the heart of this very saucy love triangle.
It's difficult, Mike. I can't just tell Ken I'm leaving him. Not just like that.
Don't you want me?
When she's out of that hat, perhaps you'll see that I'm not just a villain of the piece.
A record 19 million viewers watched as Deirdre's dirty deeds were discovered.
God's sake. Why did you put the phone down on me?
It's Ken. He knows. I've told him everything.
Get out of this house. Shut up! I'm warning you. Get out of this house.
That's it. You go. Go.
Ken Barlow hitting Deirdre. Oh, my God. What's going on? With Ken hitting Deirdre, it was like he'd hit us as well. How dare you do that to Deirdre? How dare you?
Just don't think that when you walk out of that door that you're ever coming back.
I won't.
But when push literally came to shove, Deirdre stayed with Ken, and the nation rejoiced.
The blokes would never admit to watching Corrie. But what I loved about this proved that they did watch it, because at Old Trafford it was Man U versus Arsenal, and up goes the score at half-time, and it's Ken won, Mike 0, Deirdre chose Ken, and everyone in that stadium cheered because they knew exactly what they were talking about.
The affair was over, but Coronation Street's most famous feud was only just beginning.
Mike versus Ken. Oh, it was epic. It went on for decades. I don't think he could ever quite forgive or forget.
It had to be back-reffed. I mean, you can't not refer back to something that's been so enormous.
He said that you're staying here and you don't want to see me again.
Yeah. It's like real life, really. You can't just move.
Just stay away.
Dallas was just a ridiculous cauldron of
intrigue and shoulder pads and hairspray. It was fantastic.
Right from its over-the-top, split-screen opening titles and rousing theme tune, 80s super soap Dallas drew viewers into an intriguing world of passion and power games, all played out in the oil fields of Texas.
That was very theatrical, and it was a way, if you look at, you know, Coronation Street, which is very real and very gritty and down to earth, and Dallas was the opposite of that.
Who's there?
One of Dallas's most sensational scenes was the shooting of an uncharacteristically vulnerable JR in his office at night, leading to a cunning cliffhanger, as the identity of the would-be assassin is concealed behind the camera.
Judging by tonight's episode, JR has so many enemies that almost anyone could have done it. So who did?
21 million people tuned in. An absolute phenomenon for an imported programme from another country. I remember it. It was a national obsession.
You couldn't get away from it. It was everywhere in the zeitgeist. Who shot JR?
This was the cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers. Not least because they made us wait 8 months to get the answer.
In a shrewd marketing move, UK fans had an excruciating wait before the killer was unmasked, as the hysteria around the show mounted.
I think Britain was desperate. Armed planes coming in, carrying the videotapes that have got the solution to it. Live reports on the news, and everyone's glued to it. I know it's just a soap, but it's JR.
Just one of those things that kind of became a cult unto itself.
At the start of the new series, Dallas diehards were treated to an ingenious flashback, in which the culprit is cleverly unmasked as the camera turns to reveal JR's gun-toting sister-in-law, Kristen.
It was you, Kristen, who shot JR.
At the time, that was a first, and that's why it's been copied ever since. And it, amazingly, what is it now, you know, 35 years later, it still works.